One of the most scenic drives in the United States of America. An epic road that stretches hundreds of miles from North Carolina to Virginia. A once-in-a-lifetime road trip you won't forget. Join my journey to the famous Blue Ridge Parkway and discover the best places to visit and to stay. What happened in the last episode? I traveled the Outer Banks barrier islands on the coast of North Carolina and afterwards turned inland to finally head to the mountains. Before reaching the famous Blue Ridge Parkway, I made another stop overnight to do my laundry and to prepare for the next stage of my trip, in the lovely city of Chapel Hill. So this is Chapel Hill. From here it's about 3 hours to the Blue Ridge Parkway. So it's halfway between the Outer Banks and the Parkway. I will not lose too many words on Chapel Hill because it is not exactly on the route when doing the Blue Ridge Parkway. But to me it was actually one of the nicest cities that I visited on this trip. And you know what's very cool? Here are all the pictures of former students that have visited, like this gentleman, the university at 1904. I think that's pretty cool. It has a lot of art and culture, a famous university with a football team, and an iconic diner that is in love with exactly this football team. So getting my lunch at this diner here, I guess I'm very lucky that I yesterday bought this hat here of I think it's the football team of the university here, because this is the place where all of them were. All in all, Chapel Hill is a genuine and super nice place to visit and to do your laundry. So guys, most important thing, washing your clothes after traveling for 1.5 weeks. Good morning everyone, today is the day and I'm super excited because I finally left the coast and we go to the mountains today. That maybe sounds like I hated the coast, which is not true, but I always love the mountains even more. Blue Ridge Parkway, here we come! Just Guys, do you see this in front of me? These are mountains and hills ahead of us. My soul is literally jumping from joy. These are the first mountains of this whole trip. Hallelujah. So guys, it is time now. After I took you to so many places on the coast, I will take you to the mountains now. I arrived at the bottom of Blue Ridge Parkway, which I think is maybe one of the most famous rides here in the mountains of North Carolina, and it stretches all the way to Virginia. So come with me, I think it will be awesome. The Blue Ridge Parkway is known as one of America's most scenic drives, and for a good reason. The parkway runs from North Carolina to Virginia with 469 miles or 754 kilometers, has over 20 million visitors a year, and is the longest and highest continuous route in the Appalachia region, connecting the Great Smoky Mountains with the Shenandoah National Park. Initially, I had planned to ride the full length of the Blue Ridge Parkway, but reality of course had different plans. And the different plans already started close to Ashville in North Carolina. So my plans already changed before even starting to ride the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm turning off and onto the parkway now, and that's here close to Asheville in North Carolina. And I initially wanted to ride the whole parkway, but if I would go to the real start close to the Smoky Mountains, where I have been last year, it would be another 40 minutes from here, I think. So I decided that I want to go to the mountains now. So here we go, entering the Blue Ridge Parkway, not completely at the beginning, but close to Asheville, and from here we continue north. I'm sure there will come many more viewpoints, but this one looks good and it's one of the first ones, so let's soak up the first real Blue Ridge Mountain atmosphere. So first impression of the, now I had to think how the name is, first impression of the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's actually super scenic, you can see that behind me. Now the sun is a little bit shining, I'm a bit scared that it might start to rain, but it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's kind of the same area. That's maybe why it reminds me a lot on the Chirohala Skyway that I did last year. I find it quite similar with like the open riding at the ridge and the views and the trees and everything, but it's really stunning. You know, guys, I really like the coast, but there's nothing like the mountains. I feel so relaxed and peaceful by just riding here in the mountains now. It's so nice.
The Blue Ridge Parkway is like the mystical star of all motorcycle roads. Literally everybody tells you you have to do it once in your life. Everybody loves it. Everybody talks about it. And everybody just is very convinced that you should really come here at one point and experience this. The parkway here, it has quite open views every now and then. You're, as it says, Blue Ridge, you really ride on the ridge for quite a bit, so you can really enjoy a lot of outlooks. And yeah, it's a really stunning ride, and somehow as well very uncomplicated. You know, you just go here, you enjoy it, and you have fun. And there's nothing more about it. Just beautiful and nice.
Many people indeed rate the Blue Ridge Parkway as one of the most scenic drives of the USA. And it's definitely one of the most beautiful places to explore in the southeast of the US. The best travel season for the Blue Ridge Parkway is not my travel period in spring though, but fall. The whole route becomes a cherished southern spectacle around October due to the vibrant red and yellow colors of the leaves. But in my opinion, the Blue Ridge Parkway is worth a visit all year round. You know what's actually pretty nice too about today's ride? I really just need to ride and nothing else. So I just enjoy these lovely curvy roads and the views. There's no big sightseeing at the moment. Maybe that's not so interesting for you guys, but I tell you, it's just the best. A day of riding on nice curvy roads. I tried to find a place to stay at the Blue Ridge Parkway, but there was not much left when I looked online. So I actually called a hotel that looked cute, and guess what? They had a free room. And that's where I was going then. So that's interesting. Seems like my GPS wants to take me off the parkway and to take a dirt road, but fine for me. Nice with a little change. Here we are. This is so funny because this village that I'm visiting now is called Little Switzerland, and you guys might know that I'm living in the real country Switzerland, so I feel very much at home here. Before I headed to the hotel, I stopped downtown Little Switzerland, which basically consists of a gallery, a bookstore, a restaurant and a small general store. Little Switzerland is as well called the jewel of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and due to the area and surrounding mountains being some of the most scenic of the whole parkway, one of the best places to stay if you want to experience the real Blue Ridge Parkway vibe. My accommodation is just down the road here, and this road, which is 226 and 226A, also has the name the Diamond Back Trail, and it has 200 curves in 12 miles. So it's actually worth to go off the Blue Ridge Parkway to drive this loop road here if you're on a motorcycle.
Okay guys, how nice is this? Look at this view on my balcony. And now I'm gonna have some food that I bought. Super hungry, didn't eat all day. And North Carolina, I think, is really one of the places that you have to visit as a motorcyclist when you come to the United States of America, because of its mountains, of course. I mean, it has this Blue Ridge Parkway, it has the Smoky Mountains that I went to last year, it has the Tail of the Dragon. It's just very, very nice, mountainous and very foresty motorcycle riding. And whenever I'm here, I'm enjoying it a lot. Whenever I'm here. That sounds like I've been here like 1,000 times, which is not true. I've been here last year, I've been here now again this year, and hopefully I can come here again next year. It's really a fantastic place to ride. I have to admit, expectations have been high because I already knew that it's beautiful, so then you expect even more that it will be beautiful again. So far I really love it. I'm one day in. I did, I think, about 40 miles yesterday from Ashville to Little Switzerland, where I am at the moment, and it was an awesome ride. So many curves, perfect motorcycle conditions, perfect tarmac. And by the way, the Blue Ridge Parkway, it was like the most recommended place from you guys, from all of my followers. So I guess I just had to do it because I think at least like 20 people recommended it and said you have to drive here if you have not done that yet. And here I am, doing exactly what you guys telling me.
The Alpine Inn is located just 1 mile or 1.5 kilometers off the Blue Ridge Parkway and is a rustique lodge with some of the most amazing views of the area. Little Switzerland and the inn are part of the Pisgah National Forest, and the part of the Blue Ridge Parkway that crosses Pisgah is said to be one of the most scenic of the whole route. That's the main reason I was so excited about staying at the Alpine Inn, because this is the view from the room's balconies. The next morning, the Alpine Inn was waiting with a special surprise for all motorcyclists who stayed at the lodge.
And now the nicest thing happened. The owner of this hotel here put little towels here on the motorcycles so you can clean off the wetness. How cute is that? I've never experienced that. I would check out. Okay. Thank you so much for the towel for the motorcycle. That was amazing.
You're welcome, hon.
I've never had that anywhere anyone gave a towel.
Really?
No, that's so nice. I love it.
I used to ride years ago.
Yeah.
And if you got caught in the rain, you got caught in the rain. But at least wanted to start out with a
Yeah,
dry tush,
that's true.
You're all good to go.
Thank you so much. So this is where I went up yesterday and drove all the way to here, little Switzerland. And then I'm gonna continue here today. So this is the start of the second day on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I just talked to this motorcyclist that you can see behind me, not a motorcyclist, but you can see their motorcycles. And they gave me a lot of suggestions. So it seems like I might not stay on the Blue Ridge Parkway forever, but I might head more north to another place they suggested. But stay tuned, I think it will be a wonderful day. Goodbye, little hotel. This was really very nice. What great views. I really enjoyed and liked this place. Can highly recommend it to you guys.
Baby, for love, go all for love. We're going for love, for beating hearts off the charts. Love, go.
Before we going back on the parkway, I want to look at another road of Little Switzerland that I didn't visit yesterday, because there's another hotel and gallery that are supposed to be nice, and I'm just curious if it's nicer than the Alpine Inn, which I highly doubt though. And I was right. In my opinion, the Switzerland Inn couldn't keep up with the coziness of the Alpine Inn, even though it has a few stars more. But it is definitely popular amongst motorcycle riders. Look at this here, at this other big hotel here in Little Switzerland. How many motorcyclists are staying here? So in the morning I asked the owner of the hotel for a few recommendations, because there are some waterfalls and sites that you really need to hike to for 1 hour or so, and I don't want to do that in my gear today. So one of the things he recommended to me is to visit this lookout that we are driving to now. Lovely owner of the hotel told me to stop here at this viewpoint, and there's like a mini hike down, and then you're supposed to have a very nice view. So I'm gonna do that now. The Chestoa view overlook is easy to miss because it's hidden in a little forest, but it's one of the best vistas on the Blue Ridge Parkway. From the parking area, you have to take a short walk of 1/4 mile or 400 meters to a rock-walled viewing area. From here, you have amazing views of the rugged Linville Gorge. The 12,000-acre Linville Gorge wilderness is part of the Pisgah National Forest, and looking over the beautiful mountains from the Chestoa Viewpoint makes you realize why people think this area is one of the most beautiful of the whole parkway. So here's a road sign that says in 1 mile you can turn off to the Linville Falls, and I actually wanted to do that because it's the most famous waterfall in the Blue Ridge Mountains. But the owner of the hotel told me that it's about half an hour hike or something like that, which is not too bad, but it's a holiday today, so he warned me that it's probably gonna be super crowded. So I will skip this and instead ride to another place that was recommended to me.
We're caught in burning fire, almost falling from the sky, and the sun may tear the wings of us like it could.
First things first, I didn't even have breakfast today. And here on the map I see that there's a restaurant, so let's check out if they are already open and if they have something to snack for me for breakfast.
The power of love will guide us safe to shore.
Krista's Country Corner is a general store, deli and restaurant. Offers eggs, ice cream, self-made cinnamon buns and gifts. So look at this breakfast, and in addition I got this here, a cinnamon roll to go. And after the short stop I was ready to tackle the next mountain. I don't know if you saw the sign, but I'm now going to a place that was actually suggested to me, again by one of you guys. It's called Grandfather Mountain and has a very famous swinging bridge, and it's a nature reserve. Normally you are required to have a reservation to visit Grandfather Mountain, but because of me being very early and still a few spots being left over, I was allowed to enter the nature reserve, even though I missed out on doing the reservation beforehand. But if you go, make sure to book a ticket before visiting the park. So this is the top end of the road, and what a view. Grandfather Mountain towers 5,946 feet or 1,812 meters above northwest North Carolina and is part of the United Nations Southern Appalachian Biosphere Reserve. The mountain is estimated to be 300 million years old, with certain rock formations dating back 1.2 billion years. One of the top highlights of a visit to Grandfather Mountain is of course the unique nature and biodiversity, but as well a walk on the famous mile-high swinging bridge. So I'm walking over this bridge now, which is famous, called the, I think, swinging bridge here on Grandfather Mountain. Since 1952, visitors have been stunned by the bridge's 360-degree panoramic views. America's highest suspension footbridge connects two peaks at 1 mile above sea level, hence the name. Visitors can as well see all different kinds of wild animals in the wildlife habitats, which of course turned out not to be my favorite thing to do.
Part of this park is that they're having these animals here, but I just walked in here and they have eagles, elks, otters, and I think even bears. And I just walked in here and saw the eagles and they looked so sad in that cage that I decided to walk out again and not look at these caged animals. Because no matter if they are kind of like held there properly, they're still caged, and that's not what they should be.
That was a very nice visit to Grandfather Mountain, but I have to tell you guys something. Even though the Blue Ridge Parkway still continues a bit from here to Virginia, I will leave it soon. And that's because I decided this morning spontaneously to head to another road that is supposed to be great and to take a shortcut to Virginia. So stay tuned to the roads we're taking now. This was the beautiful Blue Ridge Parkway. If you liked this motorcycle highlight, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. But we are of course not done yet with curvy roads and mountains. Next week we will head to the state Virginia and ride the back of the dragon, the less popular little brother of the tail of the dragon. Tune in next Thursday when it's time to Got to Go.